Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. This time we are going to be talking about Kirby's Avalanche on the SNES. In Kirby's Avalanche, you're trying to create rows of 4 or more of these little Puyo Puyos. I'll talk more about Puyo Puyo later, since this is just a reskinned game of Super Puyo Puyo. So I played through, for the most part, the story mode on this. It's not really all that interesting. They just took the characters from Puyo Puyo and replaced them with Kirby characters. And it works out pretty well. It's just basically a bunch of cartoonish fun, and that's really what Kirby was to begin with, so hey, it all works out here. In this, you're battling a bunch of random people, and the way that you defeat them is by creating those rows of 4 or more, and then setting up chains of multiple little Puyo Puyos to pop. The more that you'd land, the more clear Puyo Puyos you drop on your opponent. And those kind of act like bricks, keeping your opponents from doing anything, and really making the game really annoying. You can break those clear Puyo Puyos by setting up those rows of 4 or more. It really gets annoying, but it's a lot of fun to play, especially if you have somebody to play with. The game kind of looks like candy to me. When I first played this a long time ago, I had no idea what I was really playing, so I just thought, oh hey, it's a weird game that they slapped Kirby onto. It's kind of fun. Didn't know it was Puyo Puyo, didn't know there was a game called Puyo Puyo. But hey, it's a ton of fun, and you can do a lot of weird stuff with it. I really enjoyed playing it, and yeah, the game just straight up looks like candy. I absolutely love it. This was a game I borrowed from a friend of mine. So he didn't know anything about it, I didn't know anything about it. I just really love the way that it looks, though. It's got a cool art style. Once you find out, hey, this wasn't supposed to be a Kirby game, or it really has nothing to do with Kirby, it doesn't really change anything about it. It still looks absolutely adorable, and that is what you kind of would want from a game like this. Just something fun to sit back and enjoy. Once it speeds up, it does get a little hard to kind of see what's going on, but it is still a pretty fun game to play. I like that the game gives you a lot of different modes to play, so if you don't have anyone around, you can always go through the story mode. It does have a very crazy difficulty spike, though. The first guy's pretty easy, the second one goes up to hard, and the third and fourth, they get really goddamn annoying. You have to vary up your strategies and kind of take your time to figure out exactly what's going to work for you. It's still really annoying to get through some of these things because of that just ridiculous difficulty spike that takes place. It is one of those games that I would rather play with another person, just because you want to have somebody there so you can kind of make fun of them a little bit, or press you to try to do better each time. Otherwise, it's still pretty fun to play. I just would rather have a second person there, and I would have rather had a better story. Puyo Puyo is a weird series. It got repackaged a couple of times, so you'll find Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, that was Puyo Puyo, and this one, Kirby's Avalanche. I didn't even know that Puyo Puyo was a series until much, much later. It wasn't until the Nintendo Switch that I found out about it, and that's when we got Puyo Puyo and Tetris, which is really great. I absolutely love that game. There is some weird stuff that goes along with this. If you go through like the time trial and everything, that can get kind of crazy here. But we're gonna stick with the story of Puyo Puyo. Disney would also sink their hands, or sink their, I guess, mouse claws into a Puyo Puyo as well. They repackaged the game as a Timon and Pumbaa game as well. It's got such a weird history. Like, it's very strange, the things that Puyo Puyo got jammed into. You could even say that, at the game itself just had this weird series of, not wanting people to know that it's Puyo Puyo, or probably like marketers or something didn't think the game would sell well. It's strange the way it was done. I mean, it's a very fun puzzle game. You would think that they could have just let it stand on its own. They didn't repackage Tetris as something weird, so I don't really know why they would do it with Puyo Puyo at all, but hey, we live in a world where just strange things happen with video games, and stuff that marketers don't think would work ends up working pretty well eventually. That's pretty much everything that I could dig up on it. It had some weird international releases until they finally put it out for modern consoles when they paired it with Tetris. You can find the other versions of the game as well, but the ones that I remember the most are this, and then Puyo Puyo and Tetris, Puyo Puyo versus Tetris. Let's get into some of my final thoughts before I just ramble on about something else for way too long. Kirby's Avalanche is it's a game that I remember borrowing from a friend of mine. Didn't have a Super Nintendo at the time, and I wanted to play Chrono Trigger, and didn't feel like finding the ROM online to play that. So I borrowed his Super Nintendo, and he also lent me Kirby's Avalanche. I think at one point he also lent me Tetris Attack as well, which, like I mentioned, we'll talk about that later. But this one was really a lot of fun. It was a nice change of pace, and I remember just being really confused because I hadn't played a Kirby game at that point, and I didn't know any of the characters, so it was kind of strange playing a game like this that was basically a puzzle game, but had all these characters that I didn't know about or hadn't, seen before. You have to kind of remember that not everybody knew about all the different video games at the time, so yeah, I had no experience with Kirby, didn't know anything about it, and yeah, I was kind of a little confused by what was going on. Anyway, it's a really great game. It does have some pretty bad difficulty spikes in it, so if you're not really ready for it, or if you haven't, got the hang of it after the first or second level, it can be pretty unforgiving, just because you don't know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and all of a sudden you're getting your ass handed to you by a weird face thing. It kind of sucks at some points, but eventually once you get used to it, it's a very fun puzzle game. So that's going to wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and also let me know if you've played this game, or if there are other kind of strange puzzle games out there that you have played and you think I should probably try out. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.